books, My in 90-Day Transformation and In 8 Journeys with Kellie J. Wright, Life After My Transformational Journeys, and Life Before My Transformational Journeys. They were all polished, or should I say published, in 2021 and are available. They're available right now. You can go right now and get a copy of this at Amazon.com. In 2022, at the continued urging of Spirit, he began to voice the Mystic Spirit podcast on Facebook. And today, right now, he's with us for a live version of the same podcast. Of course, I am speaking about no other than J.K. Miliken. Put your hands together. Let's welcome him to Pyramid One World Radio. Oh, yeah, the man, the guy.
Yes, Bob.
There you go.
I'm here.
You know, I tell you, every time I do those intros and that for that thing, and it's like so cool. But if it records, but Skype turned on the recording and that a little late and at this time, but we got everything. So
Yeah, it did that last time, didn't it?
yeah, I mean, for some only yours. maybe it's your energy or something. I don't know.
Oh, you never know about that one, Bob. But it shouldn't be my energy. I have nothing but positive energy, nothing negative here.
But that's what does it. Yeah, usually positive energy. That'll move mountains.
Well, if I had a spoon, I couldn't move the mountain in my life. That's what.
Small little. Well, all right. So, what were you going to present for us today?
Well, basically, first thing I want to talk about is my books. Where the lessons comes from each one of my books. And even though my books do not sell on Amazon at all, even though they're inexpensive, the Spirit had asked me to write the books. And for me, it was very medicinal. But the same lessons that I had to undergo with Kellie J. Wright are within those books. And those books not only saved me, but they would save other people as well if they just read through them and do the lessons. You see, each chapter in the book is a lesson. Like the first lesson you go through is called Grow In. And that's in the first book I did with Kellie J. Wright. And the lessons are there for the taking. All you have to do is write out your response, blog it, write it down, type it, however you want to do it, and you go through the lessons, and you actually will come up on top at the end of it. And your life, I guarantee, will change like mine did. See, I never had any intention of ever writing spiritual books because they weren't in my wheelhouse. My books were like murder mystery, detective, science fiction, fantasy, those type of stories. And then one day, after I did those transformational journeys in 2019, the Spirit says, guess what? You're going to be writing books. So I have 3 books, and currently I'm working on a 4th one called The Pathway to Happiness. And after that, they already gave me a title for my next book, so they're not stopping anytime soon.
Well, hey, that's good. That's what makes us breathe a little longer.
But they're also pushing me to do my original Mystic Spirit podcast, and then they pushed me into doing the radio podcast. So they're not stopping.
Like I said, keeps you active. See, I got a couple of questions too about the book. What was the last one you mentioned that you did?
Well, the one I'm working on right now?
No, the last one before that you actually finished.
Oh, that was Life Before My Transformational Journeys, and that really was a hard book for me to write.
Yeah, see, that's what when you said that, right? When you said, that was your last book, that was the thing that kind of affected me in a little while because, you know, every single one of us that are walking on this planet, every single one of us have a history. Every one of us, no matter whether it's good, bad, indifference, it doesn't matter. It's still a history. Now, when you go and like so many people, so many guys, so many women that are listening to this right now that are over 30, over 40, over 50 for that matter, you're all saying, gee, you know, if I had done it different, or what would I have done when I was 18 and I was a fool and did this? You go through all those things in your mind, you know? Now, don't forget too, Annette and I'm also going to reserve this to another program on the Hope Channel. We're coming back, and but you have a choice. See, that's another thing. I mean, we're not talking about Washington D.C. and that where you can vote for anything you want to and get turned down behind somebody's back. This is something whereas God gives you a choice. Do you want to come back? Do you want to go to a different planet? Do you want to go to a different existence? Do you want to go back to where you started and do things different? All those things are given to you telepathically. These people don't talk up there, by the way. It's, you know, for like a book like yours gives somebody some insight into themselves on what they could have changed and how they can change it now. You have to, you know, the whole thing part of it is the now. What are we doing now? You know, are we going to do this now or are we going to do it now? Later doesn't exist. It's always now. So your book, I mean, it's right on. I mean, it's like that. Somebody, you know, it's like shaking somebody up if they read it. And they go, you know, I could have done this differently, and this guy here did this, but I did this. You know.
Well, there's one thing I learned, and I mentioned this in all three. I believe I mentioned this in all three books. Is an idiom called the woulda, coulda, shoulda. And if you concentrate on that idiom and focus on your past, but not where you're going in the future, you will get lost into the abyss or a chasm of negativity. And that's where I was stuck for most of my life. And it's a horrible situation I was in. And I can't go back and change what happened.
Well, you know, Jamie was one of the persons that always said the first thing you have to do, no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, no matter whether you're male, female, or if, we'll call it an if, but you have to love yourself first and then everybody else. If you love yourself, you can give out. Your energy is overwhelming at that point. You're giving other people that energy. And those people will start loving too. Amazing, huh? I mean, hate does nothing for nobody.
Well,
It only makes things worse.
that was my problem, Bob. I actually hated myself, hated my life, hated my actions, hated my behaviors. I mean, if anything was self-negative, I lived it, I was it. And that's what I had to change. And the spirit says, guess what? You're going to do some transformational journeys. So they lined me up with Kellie J. Wright, and we did the journeys. And my whole life is totally different. Now I live in happiness, joy, love, light, and positivity. So I've gone above self-hate to self-love. And we can all do that. It's just a choice we make.
Well, Kellie is cool, and I respect her immensely. But you're a walking commercial.
Well, she changed me, and the funny thing is, she just wasn't somebody I hired. We actually became friends because some of the things that I mirrored back to her changed her life, and the things that she mirrored back to me changed my life. So it's a dual process.
See, that's what I had said before. Your energy goes to other people, and other people it emits from them. You know, and it just keeps going and going. It's the domino theory.
Yeah, positive dominoes.
Exactly. You know, like,
Always 7-Eleven.
yeah, oh boy, wrong state. But
Yeah, but
actually,
that
I should
positive
say
energy though.
we got a casino like 45 minutes away.
I have
But
one. Mine's 2 minutes away.
oops, that's bad.
Yeah, I don't go there that often.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But the other thing is too, and I guess if people were calling up right now, and then I'd be able to, you'd be able to tell them some of the things that they can do to start changing their life. It's not, I must have listened to the other show that we did together 3 or 4 times. I mean, I'm one of those guys that takes the shows and I plug them in the car. I'm gonna say if I was gonna say, or do, or change something, and that, what would I change? So I'll go over the show 3, 4, 5 times, so I can almost state what somebody said, in another show. But you know what? If people just took, I don't know, just a couple of minutes of any one of these shows and just listened to our voices, we're somebody who knows exactly what we're saying, and you're somebody who is you're a teacher. You can teach other people how to go within themselves, find what's wrong, and change it.
Well, there's one saying. It's in a song by Joe Bonamassa. I'm sure you know who Joe Bonamassa is. You can't save the world if you can't save yourself. So it's the same thing for change. If you can't change yourself, you can't change the world.
Mm.
So if you want to change the world and be a positive element in the world, then you got to change your life.
It's funny you should say the world, because I mean, right now, I mean, there's a lot of change going on. I mean, I don't know whether you've been reading or watching TV or listening to the radio and that or whatever. I mean, there's people that are now throwing rockets at Poland. I mean, really, seriously. A long, long time ago, I mean, I was one of these ancient history buffs. I loved ancient history. And we had a bunch of nuts like that too a long time ago. They used to, like, oh, well, that's my land. Let's go take it over. And it happened over and over and over again. And it's just repeating. History does repeat itself. It doesn't have to be exactly the same way it was the last time, but the idea is there. When somebody wants to walk in with no reason whatsoever and just say, well, that's my land, take it. And, people like the rest of the world should have, in the very, very beginning, and I'm not going to go into the politics part of it, but right then and there when it started, should have said, no, 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 we don't do that no more. They should have done that right then and there. There was one guy that told somebody, don't do that. I'm watching you. And he didn't until he was gone. When he was gone, then they turned around and said, oh, the guy that can do anything is gone. So, and the rest is history. But, if that person had loved the people in his country and all over the world for that matter, this never would have happened in the first place. And we wouldn't even hear about the guy. The guy would just be a friend of his people. And it would have been like that all the time. There are other planets, and I don't know whether you've ever talked to Jamie about this or anything else, but there's other planets that have a whole different way of running themselves, their government, their friends, the whole 9 yards. And it's more or less a council. A council is very small. It's only 7 people. In some places, 13. It's always odd because you always got to have one guy that's going to, vote or whatever. And being it that way, all of these people, like yourself, are teaching people to love themselves, not kill themselves. It's a whole different type. It's not really like here we call it a government or one nation under God. Somebody forgot God, but they remember him on other planets. He's the number one, the God, the higher entity is their God, and it's number one. Everything else is secondary. So, like what I just said, is the same way a person must feel about themselves. Each person walking around on two legs is a universe, is a planet, is an entity. That person must be one with itself. Once it's one with itself, the rest, I mean, it's just like, shaking off the rust and stuff, and it's all nice and shiny underneath. Because now you realize that you are it. You are the number one. You love you. So I'm serious. I mean, it's very, very strange. I mean, we've had talks there about other planets and what people do on other planets, and I do know people who really are UFO type people, and it's very, very strange. I mean, their thoughts and their ways are way different than ours. Way, way, way different. I mean, they scratch their head when they try to understand what we do on this planet. But like one guy said, and he was from another area. He said, "You don't understand, but you're still babies." In other words, these people had the same thing happening that's happening here now. They had it, and like this entity said, you'll grow up. So, I mean, I'm still waiting for that part. But saving
Well,
ourselves is the number one way of getting to grow up.
we'll be there someday.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I think we better get on with this lessons anyway, right?
Go for it.
Okay, so today's lesson is called words. And the thought of the day for words is words have meaning and they can cut you like a knife. Now, during my life, I have intentionally omitted a part of myself that would make me whole, which I never understood, a piece I wouldn't admit that ever existed, and a future that I hated with every fiber of my being. And that was my dark side. In this lesson, I realized that I needed to be immersed in my journey and accept every part of myself to become the person I am now. So I begrudgingly took my dark side, even though it causes me pain. If I want to become one of self awareness and self love, I must accept every part of myself, whether negative or positive, to open a pathway to enlightenment. In the past, I am guilty of using various coping mechanisms to explain away my failings and mistakes to myself and others, thinking that I had no control over them. But I was wrong, dead wrong. My authentic self has emerged just recently because I have been facing my old enemy, and that is the past, making me realize how this journey will be difficult, but I must believe in myself that it will be worth the effort in the end. So that's basically the lesson about words. And the thing is, the words that we speak to ourselves can be negative or positive. This is why self-affirmations are very important in our lives, especially if you do them on a daily basis and repeat them often enough to get where we're going, what we want in life. And truly, that's the only way to get there. So I have extended the thought of the day and about words. Sometimes our words can be very hurtful, especially if we say them in anger to family, friends, coworkers, or other people. During an argument, we may do or say hurtful or insulting words because we got hurt by something they did or didn't do and something they said or didn't say. And like a surgeon's scalpel, our words can cut into another person's soul. However, on the other hand, words can be kind, loving, and supportive. Wouldn't you rather hear or say those words? You can say them to yourself through positive affirmations, which I just mentioned before, or you can say them to others and uplift them as well. You will find happiness while living in positivity, and as you share it with others. So basically, that are the lessons for today. But before Bob comes back on here in a moment, uh, on the 29th, November 29th, on my next show, I'm going to be introducing a Mike Sweat, who is the CEO of United Rain and the founder of Hopi Outreach. Now, for over 46 years, he's been educating, living, and working with the Hopi people in order to help them become more self-reliant. And with all his efforts, he was later adopted by the Hopi chief, and he'll talk about all that later in other shows. So he will be talking about United Rain again on November 29th, and he will just describe what the purpose is and how even you could help and do some things to help the Hopi people. So on November 29th, well, we welcome Mike Sweat during a three-way conversation. Now, the last thing is that if you're interested in doing transformational journeys and you would like to contact Kellie J. Wright, you can email her at Kellie J, that's KELLIE at internaljourneys.com, or you can call her at 909-273-9600 to discuss details with her. In addition to that, I recommend reading her book, Internal Journeys, A Spiritual Transformation, at Amazon.com. And this is the same book that I took my lessons from, and it's the same book that I based my 3 books on. So my books are sister books to her book. And you can take the lessons yourself if you want to walk yourself through your darkness into the light. So hopefully Bob comes back here momentarily. Are you there, Bob?
Oh yeah, you have someone on the phone I think that wants to talk to you. Who's on the line? Is this you, Mike? Hello, Mike.
Mike, Mike who?
Oh, it says Holly.
Mike Sweat. Yeah, Holly's here too, my wife.
There you go.
Hey, Holly. Hey, Mike.
I have. How you doing there, John?
I'm going. Hey, Holly.
Yeah, I saw the area code on there, and I says no, it can't be. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I had to jump in and see what he had to say about me, and he did a good job. He sometimes likes to, speaking of words, sometimes he uses the wrong word, and I have to correct him.
Well, there you go. Teacher and a teacher.
That's right. Yeah, and when we do that presentation of Hopi, I'm gonna what we're doing over there. We're gonna also I'm gonna do a brief thing about the Hopi. This is basically about the Hopi, their migrations, their origins. I've been really blessed to learn a lot about the Hopis. I'm not gonna divulge a lot of the sacred things, but I've been really blessed in the last 30 years, 40 years to have a good connection with the Hopi people and understand their religion and their belief and their way of life very well. And I'm going to share that with you guys.
Awesome. I love the tribe. I mean, I've been studying the on and off. I've been studying the thing since I've been in, oh God, 4th grade, I guess. It was like that because of their beliefs and the way they're I mean the stars mean to them and all kinds of different things. I mean this is it was so earthly that I mean it was something that I was very intrigued with.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not an Indian, so. But I mean, I was going to say that let's put it this way: where if you really want to know some of the people in that were an influence on the way you live right now, this is one of the tribes that made it possible for a lot of us to live like we are. They were the beginning.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to be talking about, where they came from. I'm going to tell everyone to kind of forget what you've been taught in your history books, because most of that is all a bunch of crap. And because my Hopi adopted father is a chief, as we call him, he's called a Moe, but he's in confidentiality, shared a lot of things. Has also studied the Bible as well as some of the other Hopis that I've come in contact with, and they make the similarities of the ancient Israelites, and I'll go over all that stuff in detail with y'all.
Excellent. What do you think, John?
Well, he's going to be doing his own show here after the 29th. Once he talks about the United Rain a little bit, and he'll be talking about all the Hopi stuff. And it's lots and lots to talk about.
Yeah, that's something, United Rain. That's something that I really hope that you really share with everyone, because I really want everyone to know there's a lot more going on than you can see or hear on TV, radio, or anything else.
And Bob, you said your radio station goes to another country. Is it which was it?
Anywhere in the world that someone picks up the link for this show, it's on TuneIn, and it's on Streamer. Anyone, anywhere in the world can listen to this.
Because the Hopi have a long history, and I've kind of studied a little bit of the Maori and the Hawaiians and the Cuban tribes. I think they're called the Tohono or something like that. They all have a similar story, and they all know that and the Maya. They're all related to the Hopi, so it's going to be kind of interesting for the whole world and make the connection on their migration.
That should be pretty interesting if you can map out where the the more or less how the Hopis are the centralized beginning to a lot of break-offs.
That's what I'll be talking about, and I'll have little maps, and I'll do a little presentation. If people get on Skype, that'd be the best way to make the connection, and I'll be going by what the Hopi believe and what they say, not by what history books say.
Yeah, and just like you, Mike, people will be able to either come into Skype and their face will be on, you'll see them, or they can call in like you are now.
Yeah, and they can get the gist of it. I'll make it. Yes.
Sounds good. You, John?
Oh, yeah, that's great. And on November 29th, we'll be introducing Hopi Rain, and it'll be excellent because there's a lot of things that can be done for them.
So we'll see you, Mike.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah, you can hang out and listen if you'd like.
I will.
Hang in there, Mikey.
All right.
All right, John, what else you got?
No, that's pretty much all I had to say, and just have Mike come on and talk about Hopi Rain. It's really a good organization. And last year, I witnessed something that was totally amazing, where we were at the Hopi Reservation, and a bunch of small planes landed and brought in supplies for all the Hopi. And that was beautiful to watch 18 planes come in. We unloaded them, and then they flew off again and came back again. So really amazing stuff. And this is what we need to tell everyone. And hopefully they ask, well, what can I do?
Yeah, like I said, it's an untold story. It's something that should be told, that should be able to be listened to.
Well, that's why I pressed Mike to do, because I thought it was important enough to get on his own show and talk about all these little different things. Basically, I gave him an outline yesterday, and then what's in between those each one of those outlines, it's going to be a lot of information. So you can't really guess how many shows it may take to get through that one chapter.
I don't know about that. We'll get through there. We'll battle this one down. Don't worry about it.
It'll be good. Oh, people will love hearing all this stuff and hear about all this cool stuff that's going on that history books don't tell us about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no. When Mike and I had spoken to each other now once before, and I mean, it's yeah. He brings back some of the things that he said brought back a lot of memories, because there's a lot of stuff in that I did in school, and that for that thing, because I wanted to know. There's so many stories out there of where America came from. When it's not really, we're not really talking about the reality is not really to talk about America. It's where everyone around the world came from. And especially when we get, to this part of the globe, that it, includes everything from Canada all the way to South America. So, I mean, there's a lot. He was just talking about a couple of, like, Cuba, Mexico, a couple of other places, and that it's a trek of people from one area to another. I mean, there were Egyptians that were over here. They find artifacts once in a while that come from Babylon or something. How did it get over here? I mean, were the two, continents together at one time and then split and put a big pond in between called the Atlantic Ocean? So, I mean, a lot of these things happen, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I wish I could, go back a few billion years and see how this place ever got here in the first place.
Well, the sad reality about our history is that it's entirely incorrect. There's so much other stuff that happened in between there that we have no clue, because people have been erasing the truth for such a very long time.
Or editing it out.
Or editing out. And,
it's on a rewrite.
And they did that with the Bible as well. They got in there and changed things and rewrote things and added stuff, taken stuff out. So they just complicated everything.
That sounds like the Anglo-Saxons. Those little English guys, they took all that stuff out of there. Yeah, who knows? Yeah. So, all right. So we're done now for the night.
We're all done.
What you got to do is, where and how can we get in touch with you?
Okay, you can email me at jkmiliken, Miliken, at outlook.com, or you can call me at 480-228-9714. But when you call, leave a message, because if I don't recognize your number, I won't answer. But I will call you back if it's important.
So there you go. Now, for everybody else out there, look, if you want a copy of this, you can get it from me by just writing to Bob Charles Show at live.com. Easy? Sure. Or you can also go to YouTube and you can just get it there. Just put in Pyramid One Radio or World Radio, and you'll find it there. The other way to do it is, as I said, just go back and write to me. I'll send you a copy of whichever show you want, or the link where you can go look at hundreds of shows. How's that? Good? Yeah. Till that time. And John, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Awesome stuff. And Mike, you too.
Thank you, guys.
There you go.
We'll see you on the 29th.
Yes, you will.
I want a lot of people to be there, because there's some interesting stuff going on.
I'll send you all the stuff that you need to get them here.
All right. See y'all.
Till that time, J.K. Miliken, a writer, an author, an awesome guy. As I always say, if you want me, BobCharlesShow@live.com will be there. You want to call into a show, it's 609-663-0153. This is Pyramid One World Radio Network. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.